My name is Wanda. I welcome you to Freedom from Darkness to Deliverance Ministries. I want to share Velma's story. It's about a mother who refused to break. Her name is Velma, but her name could be any mother's name. Velma's story isn't written on some ancient scroll, but in the quiet, lonely hours of a tired home and in the unseen burdens of a heavy heart. This is the story of her deliverance. It's the account of a holy rebellion that became her children's greatest inheritance. One day, as I stood in the stillness of a house that had grown far too silent, for more nights than I could count, I had been bound by the weight of my worries, pressed in on every side by a sadness that didn't even have a name. My prayers felt like stones tossed at a steel sky, just falling back to the earth, completely unheard. This wasn't just a season of struggle. This was a crisis of my very soul. But tonight, something was different. Tonight, I would lift my voice to heaven, not with a prayer of desperation, but with one of decision. It had gotten to the point where the walls of my own home felt like prison bars. The sound of my children's laughter, which used to be my favorite music, now sounded distant, like a melody from a world I could no longer reach. I served, I gave, I poured my entire self out, but a drought remained in my spirit. I looked down at my own hands and not see the strength that cared for a family, but the trembling of someone carrying far too much. A quiet despair was closing in, a darkness that was trying to eat me from the inside out. It was a thief of joy in the night. The world saw a mother, but on the inside, a woman was fading away. And what truly broke my heart was the inheritance I was afraid of leaving behind. Not one of faith, but of shadows. Not of strength, but of a slow, weary surrender. That fear was heavier than all my other burdens combined. Then, in the deepest dark of the night, I fell to my knees. But this time, it wasn't in defeat. A fire was lit in my heart, a holy defiance against the darkness that had come for me. I lifted my voice, not in a shout, but with the unshakable force of a soul that had finally chosen its path. I said, "Lord my God, you see me. You see that I'm breaking. I've been carrying this weight, and I've tried to call it survival, but I'm done with just surviving. I want to live. I refuse to be a monument to my trials. I will not be a testament to the darkness that almost won. I am your child, and you made me for the light. So tonight, I refuse to break. I stand against this spirit of heaviness. I reject this inheritance of despair. This is not my portion, and it will not be my children's portion." My prayer wasn't a question, it was a declaration. It was an act of war against the silence. It was the moment my soul turned the tide. In that quiet room, chains that no one could see were shattered. A strength came over me, not like a rushing flood, but like a deep and steady current rising from within. It was the renewal promised to those who wait upon the Lord. I rose from the floor and walked to the window, opening it to the night air, and my spirit felt steady for the first time in a long time. I didn't know how everything would change. I just knew with everything in me that it already had. Deliverance, I was learning, isn't just a single moment. It's a decision that echoes into every moment that comes after. The next morning, the light that filled my home felt different, warmer. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was peaceful. When my children woke up, they didn't see the weariness in my eyes. They saw a light that had been missing. My presence was a comfort again, and my words were filled with a gentle strength born from my battle. And just like that, my rebellion became their redemption. My faith, which had been a flickering ember, now burned bright enough to light the path for their own feet. I started teaching them not just about a God who saves, but about a God who strengthens his people right in the middle of their weakness. My life itself became the lesson. They saw with their own eyes how a mother's tested faith could change a family's entire story. The inheritance I passed down wasn't silver or gold. It was a legacy of spiritual courage. It was the knowledge that when darkness gathers, you can choose to stand. It was the assurance that even the most tired, burdened heart can find true rest. It was the unwavering truth that their mother had faced the void and refused to break, and because I refused, they too could walk in strength and dignity. I'm sure my story is the story of so many. If it has moved your heart, please share this video. It might find its way to another mother who feels like she's standing on the edge. And in the comments below, leave a word of encouragement. Our words have the power to lift each other up. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories of faith and deliverance. One mother's prayer of decision can rewrite a generational story. It can reclaim what was stolen and build a foundation of hope for everyone who comes after. I learned that we are never called to carry our burdens alone. Jesus himself said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And for those who wait on the Lord, he shall renew their strength. They shall mount wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. We at Freedom from Darkness to Deliverance invite you to join this family of believers, and let's help others to find the light of Christ. Our staff will continue praying for Velma, and we thank her for her courage. This is Wanda. Until next time, stay strong.